Hello guys, Elena here, and today I'm going to be doing another story time video because those are the ones that I can usually talk through without having to think too much because I'm a very slow thinker. Okay, that makes me sound so stupid. Okay, but basically this is the time that my whole family had planned to go to fucking Canada. Like, we had the Airbnb, we had the excursions planned, we had the flight, we were at the fucking airport and we couldn't go. And I just kind of remembered this, even though this happened this summer, I don't know, maybe I repressed it in my memory because honestly I forgot about it, and I was like, this would be a good thing to make a story time about because maybe this would inform some people and help them from not making the same mistake that we did. And it's also just a really unfortunate thing that happened to me in the series of unfortunate events that is my life. So I thought I would just share that with my faithful subscribers. So before I start my story time and y'all get your snacks and you'll sit back and just under your electric blanket and watch, make sure to like and subscribe, if you want to, but I'd really prefer if you did, just be a homie. His sister really wants to get 1,000 subscribers eventually, so I can afford a boat. Also, check out my social media if you'd like. You can see some of the pictures from my trip to Canada that got canceled, but you'll see what I mean as we get into the video. So, I don't even know what month it was in the summer, June or July, those months, the summer month-ends. I was visiting my mom who lives 8 hours away from me, and they own a business in Minnesota. So if y'all don't know how geography in America works, because God knows our school system is broken, Minnesota is basically on the border with Canada. So we were gonna fly, because we had to visit, it's my stepdad's company, so we had to visit him in Minnesota. So we were staying there for 3 days, and then we were gonna fly to Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is a part of Canada, but it's kind of a little island. Anyways, it's such a random place to go. I don't know who planned it. Honestly, that would not be my destination of choice. I wanted to go to Toronto or some shit, but we were going to Halifax, so I was, and at this point, I had packed to go to Minnesota and Halifax. Halifax, the middle of fucking nowhere. I had my fucking country clothes. I was ready for a good ass hike. But anyways, we're in Minnesota. We stay there for 3 days. We do our basic bitch things, Minnesota, Mall of America and shit, and go downtown. Then it's time to go to the airport. And first of all, we have to wake up hella early to get to the airport because the flight to Nova Scotia or whatever, it's gonna be a long ass time to get there. We're gonna be switching fucking time zones and shit. We're gonna be there tomorrow, even though it doesn't seem like that at the time because it's so early and we're how can this flight take so long? But anyways, we are at the airport at 5 a.m. I want to say, and we have to fucking drag all our bags out because we're at a hotel to start with. So it's not like we have our car, so we have to catch an Uber to the airport at 5 a.m. It's really just a stressful experience from the start. Anyways, we get to the airport, right? And we're looking, because this is a really big airport. It's actually one of the nicest ones. I don't know what it's called, but it's in Minnesota. So if you really are just crazy about it, you can do some research and find out what airport it was. But anyways, we go to that airport and we have to walk a long ass way to get to the place where we have to enter our tickets because we're flying through Air Canada, which is kind of a not very popular airline, or it's not as big as the other ones American Airlines and shit, so they don't have as many gates to check in. So anyways, we get there, right, and everything is looking good. We have to wait in line for a little bit because they don't have that many concierges. I don't know if that's the word. They don't have as many people checking bags. Anyways, we get to the front of the line and we give him our bags and shit, and he's looking at our passports and stuff, and we give him the tickets. And so let me just take a little side road here. Whenever I was going to Canada with my mom, I was like, Mom, you know what, I need a fucking permission slip from my father that has to be notarized because you can't travel out of the country without both of your parents unless you have this note signed by your other parent that's not going to be with you. So, I went out of my fucking way to get that note because, my ass is smart. Honestly, I'm above everyone else. My IQ is 300. And so I do that by myself, right? I get my dad to sign it and shit. And then I give him that letter, the person at the front, my young stepsister, who is just lovely, she's 8, I think. My stepdad had read online that she would not need a passport because she is 8. Which, God, you know what? I don't know why you'd fucking think that someone wouldn't need a passport to cross into another country. But, you know what? It was beyond him. Like, he just didn't think about that. And so we're up there, and he's like, well, where's the 4th passport? And my stepdad's like, well, we read that she didn't need one. And the guy's like, no passport, no Canada. And he stops the fucking, like, luggage conveyor belt. Like, he presses a button and it all stops. But, so my luggage is on there, but my mom and my stepdad's had already gone into the fucking abyss of wherever they go. So, you know, I got my luggage back when he did that. But my stepdad's, like, ready to fight. Like, he's got up in arms and shit. And he's, like, getting his phone out, research. He has, like, the let me speak to your manager look on his face. And he and this guy go at it for a bit, but, like, this guy's the one who's getting to choose if we go to Canada. And honestly, if this guy doesn't think that you can go to Canada without a passport, our asses are not going to Canada today. Like, we better go sit over there and eat some fucking Arby's because we're gonna have to rethink some plans right now. But anyways, he, like, my stepdad goes and he calls, like, the fucking head of Air Canada, and they can just not hash this out. Like, we are not going to Canada that day. And this is unfortunate because we literally already had paid for all the things that we were gonna do there. Like, the Airbnb paid, excursions paid, like, we had shit in line for us, and we couldn't do that. Not to mention that, like, we were traveling kind of across, like, Canada, so we were going to Halifax and we were going to other places in Canada, so we had multiple locations paid for, and, like, we had a rental car and shit. Like, we were ready. So at that moment when they're like, no passport, no Canada, all that gets fucked up. And a lot of these things are like no refund shit. So as soon as he realizes that we can't go to Canada, I also have to mention that he fucking disappeared for this portion. My stepdad, like, we don't know where the fuck he went. He was angry and he just disappeared for a little bit. And you know me, I'm just sitting on my phone, have my computer out, I'm having a good ass time, just chilling, because you know what? I don't want to go to Canada that much to start with. I know that makes me sound like an ungrateful brat. Like, I wouldn't mind going to Canada. It was just wasn't my top choice destination. So I wasn't, like, completely bummed out to go to Canada because I don't know what the fuck you do in Canada. I think Canada is probably a little bit like America. So I wasn't as hurt as you would think I would be, maybe. Like, I felt bad for them because they planned the trip out, but I was, like, unfazed by it. So anyways, he, like, disappears for a bit and he comes back and he's like, yeah, so we can't go to Canada. I basically called all these places. Like, we can't get a refund on some of this shit, but we can get a little bit. And I also, like, want to remind you guys that we are not at our home airport. Like, we are in Minnesota, like a random ass airport. We don't have anything. We don't have our car or anything. We're just at the airport. So at that point, we're kind of like, well, where the fuck do we go now? So my stepdad's like, okay, so Elena, where do you want to go? And he's like, you can go, like, anywhere, like, you know, in the US. That's basically how I took it. And my mom's like, let's go to Hawaii. And I'm like, I don't want to go to fucking Hawaii. I know I sound really ungrateful. I'm just like, I really am not the kind of person who goes on vacation to relax. I really like to see shit. Like, I want to go places that have meaning. So one of my things was, like, I kind of want to go to, like, Virginia or, like, Massachusetts, somewhere with a bunch of history, like Boston and shit. But my 8-year-old stepsister luckily said no because she did not think that would be very interesting. I'm like, I'm sorry that your fucking 2 brain cells wouldn't like that, but okay, that basically canceled that out. My number 1 choice was New York, but my stepdad's like, haven't you already been to New York? I'm like, yes, but I just wanted to go back. I really like it there. But it was, it basically becomes up to me and him on deciding where we're gonna go. We narrowed it down to either San Francisco or Los Angeles. And I really wanted to go to San Francisco, but you know, although it was made to seem like I had a choice in this, it really was never my choice of where we were going. It was more of him saying shit to manipulate my decision into going places. And I'm not really a fighting kind of person, so I was just like, yeah, we can go to fucking Los Angeles. Did I like Los Angeles? Yes, I loved it. I thought it was great. Was it my decision? No, not really. I really enjoyed it there. It was a good vacation. It was very pretty. But like, it wasn't my decision. I'm not trying to complain about that. It's just like, it was annoying how they tried to make it seem like it was my decision, but it wasn't. But that's kind of off topic. I was just complaining about my life because I haven't really said that to anyone in a long time, and I was just thinking about it. Like, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing that I was kind of manipulated into a decision. But anyways, when we were there, we went to like Universal and Disneyland, so it ended up being a hella good vacation. It was just funny how like we had this whole idea where we were gonna go. We ended up going to somewhere completely different. Not to mention that I had packed for Canada, so my ass like dressed ugly the entire time I was in LA, which is like the worst place to dress like shit. So anyways, that was annoying. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this story time. I know it's kind of all over the place, but when am I not, honestly? If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. You know, if you're ever going out of the country, make sure to bring your fucking passport. Like, even if you don't think you need to bring your passport, just bring it. Bring two, you know, just in case. Like, bring a copy. Like, I know you can't get two passports, so honestly, order a fake one online so you can have two, because you never know what the fuck is gonna happen on your way to Canada.